Today is day 312 of the October 7th war and the Hamas hostage crisis. It is also the Jewish fast day of Tisha B'Av, and I wish all those fasting an easy and meaningful fast.
You know who's fasting right now? The Palestinians. They're being forced. I love how they're fasting in Israel for a holiday while they literally starve 2.3 million people.
The free world stands with Israel against Iran's aggression. Yesterday, leaders of the US, UK, France, Germany, and Italy declared their support for Israel's defense against Iranian aggression and against attacks by Iran's proxy armies, including Hamas and Hezbollah. They demanded Iran to stand down its ongoing threats of a military attack as the US sends forces to the region to send a message. Don't. Israel is on high alert for a massive Iranian attack, which the US...
Oh, you guys are on high alert right now? It's DEFCON 4 in Israel? Oh my God, to say it isn't so. Oh my God. Heaven forbid you bear the brunt of responsibilities for your actions.
Could come this week. Iran says it's retaliating to the elimination of arch-terrorist Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. But that's as crazy as saying Pakistan had a right to retaliate against the United States for killing bin Laden. Iran harbors terrorists.
Right, because Ismail Haniyeh is bin Laden, right? What is this false equivalence we're making here? Yeah, she did say unprovoked. Let's run that back.
Israel is on high alert for a massive Iranian attack, which the US says could come this week. If Iran attacks, it would...
Daddy says it might come this week. We're not sure. We're on high alert. But Daddy said it could happen this week. We're going to be on high alert. We decided to go into our safe rooms underground.
Be an unprovoked act of aggression. Iran says it's...
There it is, the unprovoked act of aggression. Iran likes to claim, okay, that because we assassinated a Hamas leader in Tehran on Iranian soil, they like to claim that this would be in retaliation, but that's nonsense, because we are Israeli child. We can do whatever we want.
Retaliating to the elimination of arch-terrorist Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran.
Arch-terrorist.
But that's as crazy as saying Pakistan had a right to retaliate against the United States for killing bin Laden.
Pakistan has a lot of rights to retaliate against the United States, but also Ismail Haniyeh is not Osama bin Laden. Why does every Israeli sound like they came from California? I know, and bin Laden wasn't bin Laden either.
Iran harbors terrorists, and it's already waging...
It's the George W. Bush lingo. They harbor terrorists. Therefore, we must destroy their country. They hate our freedom. They're harboring terrorists. I thought you guys wanted a ceasefire and free the hostages, so you just assassinate the lead negotiator of the people that you're negotiating with? Bad look. Never underestimate Israel's capability to speak out of both sides of their mouth.
A regional war against Israel.
Say one thing, do another.
Israel on 7 fronts through its proxy army.
There's the 7 fronts again. The 7-headed hydra of the octopus of terror axis of evil.
It doesn't want to avoid a regional war. It just wants to shield itself as it wages one through proxies.
That is big, if true.
Free world knows Iran is not only a threat to the Middle East, it's a threat to Europe and America.
Really? Is that why it's completely encircled by the U.S. bases? I'm sorry, who has Iran attacked unprovoked in the Middle East? Where are the Iranian bases in Western Europe? I really want to see them. Are there any bases in the Western Hemisphere threatening and menacing the United States? Iran is a threat, really? Why is the 5th Fleet parked in Bahrain in the Persian Gulf, just outside of Iran? Why is the U.S. Navy's largest fleet parked in Bahrain? I mean, have you guys seen how many bases in Middle East, United States? Bro, look how many fucking bases we have. For decades, the U.S. has operated out of bases and facilities throughout the Middle East. As security priorities have changed, blah, 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 blah. But, bro, we are, like, knocking at Iran's doorstep. I mean, try to find an analog to this anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. With any country. Remember, it is part of the Monroe Doctrine, okay? Let me take y'all to school. The fucking Monroe Doctrine of 1823. This is our policy that we live by. No other colonial power shall be able to influence our Western Hemisphere. The Western Hemisphere belongs to the United States, Latin America, all of that. That's United States proper, big boy. Monroe Doctrine was articulated in President James Monroe's 7th annual message to Congress on December 2nd, 1823. The European powers, according to Monroe, were obligated to respect the Western Hemisphere as the United States sphere of interest. So the United States is allowed to have a sphere of interest which encompasses the entire continent and beyond in the Western Hemisphere of the world. But when we say that Russia was protecting its sphere of interest by rebuking Ukraine joining NATO, well, that's Russian imperialism, okay? Why is Russia trying to have a sphere of influence? Why does China have a sphere of influence? How dare Russia defend itself? How dare Russia perceive an existential threat to its country along its borders? That is unthinkable. I mean, there is no analog, there is no precedent, there is no comparable situation that the United States is victim to the same way that it victimizes other regions in the world. And you can see it in this map, obviously, and you can see it, like, where is the U.S. Fifth Fleet? Look, they've like zoned it off. The United States Fifth Fleet, it commands the Persian Gulf. Look, these are all our fleets. So, I mean, can you think of, does Iran have its navy spread across the country? I mean, it's spread across the world like this? The 7th Fleet, the 5th Fleet, the 6th Fleet. Have we talked about U.S. military bases in the world? We have so many military bases, we don't even know, nobody really knows how many bases there are. It's speculated that it's somewhere along the lines of like 800, but it's probably more than that. And then, you know, there's also black sites, there's bases we don't even know about. Look at all these bases, we have them in, you know, how many countries? Can you think of, I don't know, Libya having a military base in the United States? Can you think of Saudi Arabia having a military base in the United States? Etc., ad nauseum, ad infinitum. There might be 1,000, I don't know. There's so many. We have $1 trillion military budget. What is Iran's military budget? How much money does Iran spend on its military every year? How is it a threat to the world? Let's look at top military budgets by country. What are the top 10? Is Iran even in the top 10? Nope, not even in the top 10. Countries with the highest military spending worldwide. Okay, this says 916. I mean, I would put it over $1 trillion because there's all kinds of dark money as well. But let's just say it's $1 trillion, okay? The next 9 countries in the top 10 do not eclipse what one country spends on its military. Not even our police budget. We spend more money on our domestic police force than most countries spend on their entire military. Yes, combined. That's right. China, Russia, India, Saudi Arabia, United Kingdom, Germany, Ukraine, France, Japan, and South Korea. Okay? We spend more than all of those combined. And we are supposed to believe that Russia, what is Russia's GDP? We're supposed to believe that Russia, okay, so Russian GDP, this says 2.24 trillion. What is California's GDP? 3.9 trillion. One state in the United States has a bigger economy than the entire country of Russia. And not just even California, but Texas also has a bigger economy than Russia. Look, 2.4 trillion. So just 2 states respectively, individually, have a bigger economy than Russia. Remember, if you want to wage war and be a menace, be a freak, and be a menace on the world stage, you want to fucking have world domination, buddy, you need an economy. You cannot conduct war without an economy. How are we expected to believe that Russia is capable of taking over the entire world with an economy which doesn't even rival one of the states in the United States? Yeah, the NYPD alone has more funding than most armies. The 1% need a lot of protection, don't they? Yes, they do. That's why they require all of that. I mean, just absolutely, you gotta be a fool to actually believe this Hasbara that Iran is posturing as a international menace. Remember, it's all projection. Iran's not even, like, who is the greatest threat to world peace? Like, studies have been done on this shit, you know? Peace worldwide named, here's truth out. People worldwide named the United States as a major threat to world peace. Is Iran, like, worldwide, do we consider Iran to be the greatest threat to world peace? No. They're not even in the top 5, okay? I'll have to find greatest threat. Here's Statista. Countries that pose greatest threat to world security according to public opinion. Well, okay, well, this is in Poland, so obviously it's Poland's on the borders with Russia. But remember, Poland has nukes. Poland has NATO nukes aimed at Russia, okay? Poland is a member of NATO, okay? That is a hostile military alliance. Literally, NATO is a global military intervention force designed to control the world's pipelines and sea lanes for the US-dominated global finance system. Poland is a member of NATO and literally houses nukes aimed at Russia. Poland is literally bordering Russia. Of course, they're going to minimize the United States as being a threat. Poland border with Russia. The Kaliningrad area, right? Yeah. This little annexed Poland borders this little annexed part of Russia right up here. Kaliningrad. Iran only wants U.S. and Israel out of the region so the Middle East can see peace. Yes, it's literally so simple, okay? We do not have a right. Why on earth is the United States meddling in the Middle East as if this is simply axiomatic of our world? It's the United States. Nobody questions what the is the United States doing in the Middle East to begin with. And everyone that I talked to when I went there was like, United States, go the fuck home. Why are you meddling? Why are you intervening? Why are you destabilizing? Of course, we know the reason, but, you know, it falls on deaf ears when you start listening to these chodes talk about Iran being a threat to world peace. Like, give me a break.
Nixon ordered Cambodian genocide. Clinton sent cruise missiles to Sudan, people died. Obama gave the orders to do drone strikes.